Here we are with our Fish Around the World series. So last week we talked about the largest fish in the whole world. What is it?
The whale shark.
The whale shark. So was it a whale or a shark?
It was a shark.
It was, that's right.
Because whales are mammals.
That's right. And so now we're talking about fish and different fish in the world. So we had three main categories that were talked about in your My Animal Notebook. We've got three categories, or three descriptions of what fish really are. So mammals, there's a little bit more about it. So on page 99, you'll see the fish characteristics. So Alexis, tell us, what are the three fish characteristics?
All fish have gills.
Mm-hmm.
Fish have fins. All fish are cold-blooded.
Fish characteristics, they have gills, they have fins, and they're cold-blooded. So that's why whales are mammals. They do not have gills. So we're going to talk about the largest group of cartilaginous fish. What are they? Just look at our books.
The rays.
That's right, they're rays. We're on page 19, which is the one that has like a little box on it. So on page 19, you're going to start at the top. You're going to write the word rays. Rays are very easy to spell. How do you spell rays?
R-A-Y-S.
There you go. So go ahead and write rays. You can even write it on the first line. You can even write it on the first line here if you'd like. So rays, we're going to talk about rays today. Now this book, I can't quite see who did the pictures because it has a little sticker on it, but I bet it tells us in here. Oh, there we go. So this book was made by Jody Sullivan Rake. So she drew these, or not drew, she took these beautiful photographs and she wrote some very nice simple words. So this is a very simple one about rays. What are rays? What are they?
Rays are fish. They are a flat animal pancake.
Flat like pancakes. So rays are fish that are flat like pancakes. That's exactly what they are. They have gills. They're cold-blooded. They have fins.
Whoa, cool.
So read us about these rays, Alexis.
Some rays are as small as cookies. Others are as larger than giraffes.
Can you believe that? Some are so big they're longer than giraffes, and some are so tiny they're like little cookies. So that's a huge range, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, read about their body parts.
Rays have fins. They look like wings. Rays move their fins to swim.
Very good. Rays move their fins to swim. So they do have fins just like fish. And they do, when they swim, it almost looks like they're flapping their little wings like birds do. Read us about their eyes.
Rays have eyes on top of their bodies.
A snout sticks out in front of their eyes. You can see that right there. So there's their eyes sticking out of their bodies. Look, there's their little snout. Isn't that cute? Look at that funny look. So read us about their mouths.
Rays have mouths. On the bottom of their bodies, rows of hard teeth sit inside.
So that's a very interesting fact, isn't it? That their mouth is actually at the bottom. They're not on the top.
So just go at the bottom, swim around.
Yep, so that might be an interesting fact to write down in your notebook, that rays' mouths are on their underside. That's very interesting. And they have rows of hard little teeth. You can see, if you look very carefully, you can see those are actually little tiny teeth that you see on their mouths. Isn't that interesting? They're such interesting creatures. So what rays do? Some rays will eat squids, clams, and other shellfish. Rays crush their prey with those tiny sharp teeth. So those little teeth we saw underneath, that's how they crush their prey. It did look like they have a strong jaw, didn't it? Oh, look at this. This is their camouflage. So rays hide from predators on the ocean floor. They wiggle under the sand with their fins. So you can kind of see that here. See, that's actually another good fact to write down, is that they can hide from their predators by wiggling under the sand. All right, so that's another fact. So you want to try to write at least 5 facts about rays today. We're only going to be doing rays. Yep, so you're going to want to write down that they can wiggle under the sand. And just listen for some other facts that you find are interesting. So that's the picture of their spine. See that spine? It's like a long tail. So some rays sting predators with the spines on their tails, but actually not all can sing with their wings. Under the sea. So the rays glide along the ocean floor, and they live under the sea. I think we all knew that, didn't we? Look at how beautiful they are when they're gliding like that. They're really pretty to watch. Has anyone seen rays in an aquarium?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In fact, I've actually touched one before.
Mm-hmm. At the Toledo Zoo, which actually, Mackenzie's here. So yes, Mackenzie, you may have been to the Toledo Zoo. And they actually have a really cool area where you can touch the rays, the different rays, not necessarily stingrays, but different kinds of rays. So what are some facts you gathered from that book?
Rays have tiny rows of little teeth, and they can wiggle under the sand.
Yeah, so those are some great facts. And don't worry if you missed those facts, because we have a few more books about rays to read. This one's got some really, really pretty photography.
5 more books left.
Yeah, we probably won't read all those books, but we checked out a lot of books about rays from the library. Oh yes, rays. So Mackenzie has touched a ray then. That's wonderful. I thought because at the Toledo Zoo is where we've been, where we've touched the rays.
Sometimes I've always been scared to touch them because of their barb thing.
Mm-hmm. But the ones they have there are, they don't have that, so they're safe, right? That's wonderful.
They don't have their barb. Does it sting you?
Nope, they don't have one. So this one is, the photographs are by Valerie Bodden, or Bowden, one of the two. Bodden or Bowden. It's got 2 D's on it, so it could be Bodden or Bowden. And she has some beautiful photographs. It's amazing the photographs people can take here. I'm going to try to come over to the side here. Can you see the pictures okay, Alexis, if I go like this? Okay, so I want to make sure she can see too. So rays are fish that are related to sharks. More than 160 kinds of rays live in oceans. Stingrays, electric rays, manta rays, those are all different kinds of rays. And sawfish are also a kind of ray, which I didn't know that. Rays use their long, thin tails to steer through the water. Isn't that pretty? Look how she got the picture of the water there. See how you can actually see the sky in the background? Isn't that really pretty? Can you see that, Alexis?
Yeah.
Isn't that pretty? So just as I'm reading, make sure you're listening. Very good to take some good notes, okay? I want this whole section full of notes. Can you do it? Do you think can you guys do that? Yeah, I think you can. I think you definitely can. Oh, here's the picture of their little mouth again. It looks so there's their underside. There's that mouth again. So rays do not have bones. Instead, their skeleton is made of cartilage, and that's why they are the largest cartilaginous fish. A ray's flat body is called a disc. Ooh, that's a good one. Their body is called a disc. That's a good fact. The fins stick out from each side of the disc like wings. A ray's eyes are on the top of this body, but its mouth is on the bottom. And I'll get the little closer up so you can see. It has all those little tiny teeth that we talked about earlier. So cartilage. Who knows what cartilage is? Do you know, Alexis? No, I know she's writing her note. I don't want to just disturb her while she's writing her note. But if you feel your nose.
That's cartilage.
Yep. So you feel how it's hard, but it moves back and forth? That's cartilage. Whereas if you feel like your skull bone or your jawbone, how hard that is and it doesn't move.
That's not true.
Right. So rays are made of all cartilage. They don't have the hard bone like so maybe you've seen a fish skeleton. Yeah, that is hard. So like the fish skeleton you'll see has hard bones, whereas the rays are it's the cartilage. It's all cartilage. So the smallest rays are just 4 inches, and we talked about that. Remember the other one? Yep, the 4 inches. Oh yeah, Mackenzie got it right. Soft bones. Good job, Mackenzie. But the giant manta rays are the biggest rays. They can be up to 22 feet across. You can see that human with one. But that's a huge range, isn't it? They typically swim about 15 miles an hour. So it's not overly fast, but it's faster than humans swim.
Water sheds shallow.
Isn't that beautiful water? So here's some southern stingrays. They're commonly found in the Caribbean Sea. And you can see that's the Caribbean. Look how beautiful and blue that is. The blue Caribbean Sea. So most rays like warm, that's another good fact, most rays like warm water. and like to stay in the shallow waters too. But there are some as well that swim deep in the oceans, and even some rays will live in rivers. So they kind of live all over the place. And look at how neat this one is. This one kind of has, I can't tell if that's one, I think that's, she took a picture of one ray in just different spots. I don't know if that's just, a bunch of them together. I think she took one and just put them all pictures together.
How did she do that?
Well, Photoshop. There's a lot of good stuff you can do. So some rays will eat crabs, clams, worms, and shrimp, whereas other rays will munch on fish, squid, and jellyfish. Some kinds of rays even eat tiny plankton. So there's a large range of the different creatures that the rays will eat. So some rays will live in large groups. And you know what their group of rays is called? Do you know, Lexi? It's the same as a lot of fish. Do you know what a group of fish is? I don't think we've gone over this. It's well, the babies are called pups. But yeah, the group of rays is called a school. So that's a good thing to write down. A group of rays is a school, just like a group of fish is also called a school. And their baby rays are called little pups. Isn't that cute? Baby rays. So a mother ray will give birth to 1 to 20 pups at a time. The pups can swim right away. Most wild rays will live 8 to 15 years. You can see all those little rays right there. So baby ray is called a pup. Oh, look at this beautiful, beautiful picture. Again, look at that blue, blue water. So because they live in the warmer waters, those warmer waters do tend to be a little bit of that more of that turquoise color. Good, yeah, Mackenzie knew it was called schools too, the schools of fish. So some rays move through the water by flapping their fins, whereas others will ripple their fins to swim. And I know we've seen that, haven't we? When we saw the rays, you could see how they almost wiggles. Their little wings will wiggle. So it's kind of neat to see that. So the rippling motion is from a word meaning wave. It is called undulation. That's a big word, isn't it? And it almost reminds me of, see how the sand, you can see the ripples in the sand down there? That's kind of how their little movement of their wings is. So there's a cleaner fish, and you may have seen this if you see one in an aquarium. There are cleaner fish that will actually clean the ray. So they'll just kind of hang out with them and clean them. The cleaner fish eat the damaged skin, and they help the rays heal faster. To get clean, rays will swim to reefs called cleaning stations. Here, the small fish can eat the pests off the ray's skin, and sometimes they'll even clean their teeth. Isn't that cute? So it's like a spa day for the ray and going to the dentist, right? Oh, Mackenzie has a joke. Where do rays learn?
School.
That's right, in school. That is a good joke. Oh, look at this one. So this one you can see has some camouflage. So how do the rays camouflage? We learned that in the other book. What do they do to camouflage?
They go in the sand.
That's right. They wiggle in the sand. That's right. So sometimes you'll see them actually on the beach, so be careful not to step on them. Other people will visit rays in the zoo. It can be fun to see these strange-looking creatures up close. And it suggests that you shuffle your feet through the sand so you avoid stepping on the poor rays, right? Because they do hide very well. God gave them great camouflage. And here's a picture of a ray from underneath. Isn't that interesting, where you just see the shadow of it? There. Very good. So look at that. Weren't those some beautiful pictures in that book? So tell me some new facts that you've gathered now about rays from that book.
That they like warm water and shallow water, and the baby is called a pups, and a group is the schools.
Very good. So she's gathering more and more information. So now this one, I'm going to have you read. So you probably won't be able to gather any information. You won't probably want to write information for this one, because I'm going to have Alexis read this one. This one's got some easy peasy words. So I'm going to you might have to kind of come over here. I don't know, to read it. So I'm going to try to feel like if I do that, well, you don't
raise our fish.
You don't have to go way over there.
Raise our fish.
So raise our fish. We learned that, didn't we?
Rays breathe.
There we go.
Rays breathe through gills.
Ooh, and this is the first book that's shown us the gills. So I'm going to put this up just a little bit closer so you can see. You can see the gills are on the underside And you can see there's the mouth with the sharp little teeth. So this is the first book that's talked about the gills, isn't it? So that's why it's nice to get multiple books on one subject, because then you will get a lot of information.
Rays have a flat body.
And what's that flat body called? Do you remember? We heard that in another book.
Disc.
Good. That's right, a disc.
Rays have large fins that look like wings.
Mm-hmm. Look at those, see? And they do. And we learned that the biggest wingspan is 22 feet. Holy smokes.
Most rays have a tail.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, most rays do have a tail. Some rays sitting predators.
Sting.
Sting a predator.
Some rays will sting their predators. Oh, and there was the...
Rays have a mouth. I think everybody knows that.
Well, you know what? They probably didn't know where the mouth was, so it's on the underside. Oh, look, this one you can see the mouth eating.
Rays eat clams, crabs, and fish.
Mm-hmm. So they are carnivores, aren't they?
Most rays hunt for food near the ocean floor.
That's right. And so their camouflage is not only for their protection, but also for when they're hunting for food. All right, Luke, have a seat here. And I'm going to read one more book about rays while you gather up a few more facts. I don't know if I want to do this one or The Nature's Children. I think I'm going to do this one, Marine Life Rays. This one's by Lynn Stone. So if you notice, I don't know if you've noticed this, but as we're reading books with photographs, I notice usually there's only one person that creates the book. They take the pictures and they gather the information, which is kind of interesting because so often when you have an illustrator and someone writing the words, even if it's a factual book, that a lot of times it's two separate people. So I thought that was kind of interesting, right? Mm-hmm. All right, get ready. Get your pencil ready. We got to gather 2 more facts from this book. So now the trick is, can you find any new facts that we haven't learned yet? That'll be the trick, right? So here is our ray. Rays have flat, flexible bodies and skeletons of cartilage. So we had heard about the skeletons of cartilage, but have you written down that they have skeletons made of cartilage, or that their bones are made of cartilage? You could put bones, or you could put skeletons made of cartilage. The cartilage is the tough, flexible, and lightweight, just like as we talked about with how your nose moves around. It has the cartilage. So the largest of the rays are manta rays. You've probably heard about the manta rays, haven't you?
Hey, Ray.
Right? So rays are in all sorts of sizes, including the yellow stingray here. So this is called the yellow stingray.
Cool.
That one has really good camouflage, doesn't it? Oh, we've got someone joining us today. Polly wants to join us.
Polly Pugalina.
So the typical ray has the flat disc body. So that's another fact that we've already learned. So maybe we won't learn any new facts from this book. What do you think? We might not.
Maybe.
So the pectoral fins of rays are enlarged to form the disc shape. So we did learn about that too. So here's a blue spotted ray. And in fact, we had a really nice picture of, here's the blue spotted ray here on the front of this book. Isn't that a nice picture? So that's the blue spotted ray. He shows how he's got an open spiracle near its eye. So you can see that. See how it's got like a little opening by its eye? Where rays live. Oh, well, I guess we did kind of learn this already. So this is actually a bat ray. So it kind of has that look of a bat, doesn't it? Isn't that interesting? So they do like the warm seas, right? And they'll usually live at the bottom. So here we have a thornback ray. Look at all the squids he's eating for his meal. He's like a squid buffet right there. That's a lot, right? So here's the big mouth feeding manta on plankton. So you can kind of see all those little dots around there where it's eating the plankton. Did you know that a ray has a keen sense of smell? Oh, here's a new fact. Get ready to write. It's a new fact here. A ray has a keen sense of smell. It also has sensitive nerves to help it find its prey. So that means it can kind of feel, has a stronger sense of feeling too, but it has a good sense of smell, which is interesting to think of a fish having such a good sense of smell because we can't smell underwater. So it is kind of interesting to think of how fish really, they can smell. So scientists, they don't know much about the lifespan. And they're thinking that maybe some could live 40 or 50 years. So they haven't really been able to monitor them to know. So here's a southern stingray hanging out with that diver right there. So yes, rays are definitely calm creatures. So they're not ones that would purposely try to hurt humans or anything. They don't look out to. And there's just a few things I was going to show you in here about rays, because we need one more fact, right? We got the good sense of smell. Let's give you one more fact here. So it's interesting, this group of ray, even though we learned the other group was schools, this one says the shoal is the group of eagle rays. The rays got their name because their fins look like wings and their head looks a little like an eagle. Can you kind of see that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little bit, the eagle rays. So then again, this has a group of rays called a shoal too. So here are actually rays that live in the river. Did you know that they live in the river too? That's actually something, I didn't know. I kind of always pictured rays as living just in the ocean, but they also live in rivers. That's a good fact to write down. But they live in rivers, lakes, and oceans. So here, we were talking about the salt water that a lot of them live in. This is actually a freshwater stingray. Look at how pretty. It kind of reminds me of Petoskey stone a little bit with all the different pattern on it. So even rays that do not live in the sea, they're still colored to match their surroundings. Like you really have to look to see that. Isn't that pretty, the coloring it has? So yes, so they live both in freshwater and saltwater. And I think that was mainly the ones that we wanted to go over. Yep. Oh, here's the electric ray I wanted to show you too. So they can actually give you a shock up to 300 volts. Isn't that crazy?
What does that mean?
A shock is like if you've ever like kind of scuffed your feet and then you touch something and it kind of shocks you a little bit. I don't know how many volts that would be, but yeah, 300 volts is a pretty good size shock. So it's like an electric shock because it has electricity. Isn't that interesting? So now we have all of our wonderful facts about rays. We're going to get out our books. You've got your facts on one side, and on the white side is where you're going to be drawing your rays. So we're going to label it ray. So we're actually going to draw two parts of the ray. We're going to draw the top and the underside of the ray. Isn't that interesting? We are? There we go. All right, so I'm going to flip us around. So go ahead and get your pencils ready. Oh, I got to get this down. Oh, it's stuck here. All right, we're going to flip you around and draw a ray. There we go. So you can see she has her fish. She's got a lot, she has the ray up there, and she's got lots of good facts about the ray. This one's kind of a neat book too. How it has some different kinds of rays. So this one you can see has this is actually a skate, which is in the family of the rays. We're going to put on our label. And I'm going to put plural rays since we're actually drawing the front and the back of the ray. So I'm going to do the top side of it where you would just see the eyes up here and stuff. So I'm going to kind of round it up here. And then I'm going to make its wings go out here. Draw the wings to kind of go out here. And then draw its tail. This one's a pretty long tail, yep. So this one's going to have a especially long tail on this one. I made mine a little bit too big because actually I know we want to do the underside. So the underside I might just draw kind of poking up here a little bit since I kind of had it. So I'm going to move that up here a little bit to even mine out because mine was a little bit there we go. So we've got the back of our ray. Oh, I lost my pencil. Oh, there we go. This is going to be the back of our ray. So the eyes are actually on the back side. So here we're going to give it 2 eyes here on the top. And you can see they have a little bit of a hole by their eye. So I'm just going to draw that little hole by their eye. I'm going to kind of give them eyes like that, a little more cartoony looking eyes. And then here's their tail. So remember how we were going to diagram all of our fish? So now we're going to label it. Oh, thanks. We have a banana race. We got all sorts of fruit. But we got the banana. Oh, I guess it came with all sorts of different ones. Oh, and we have sushi erasers too. Butterflies. So here we have his eyes, and now we're going to label things. So I'm going to kind of put and we have a ghost too. Yep. I'm going to label the tail down here. So we're just going to point to the tail. So now, Alexis, we're going to label our rays. So label it tail, Tail. And then the eyes, we can label those. So you can actually draw the arrow all the way to the eyes. I don't like to draw on top of my creature. So I'm just going to kind of go like this and point down to it. The eyes. And then remember, what were their fins called?
Fins.
Well, they had a special name for the fins. Wings, right? So you can put actually fins and then put parenthesis wings. So what we'll do is we're going to write fins, and then in parenthesis we'll write wings, because their fins are called wings. This is a fun one. Here we go. So now we're going to draw the mouth and the gill. So we're going to draw the underside. And because I made my ray a little bit too big.
Yeah, I kind of did too.
So my underside is actually going to only be like at the bottom here. So it won't be like the full, since my ray's so big, it'll only be the top of the ray kind of peeking out a little bit. So I'm just going to draw kind of like the top of the ray, kind of peeking out over the edge here. So draw enough to get its little wing in. There, so it'll be enough where it has like its wings showing, and then where the mouth will be. So as you see, it's kind of cool. They have 2 holes by their mouths. So we're going to put those 2 little holes by their mouth. Well, let's draw their mouth first. And the teeth too. The teeth kind of were kind of a cool thing too. So we're going to kind of draw their mouth kind of open wide. And I'm going to draw kind of like separated like that, how it showed the teeth. And I'm going to draw the little teeth in there, because they have little tiny sharp teeth. I'm going to draw all those teeth. Okay, let's just label your teeth, please, honey. All right, so this is the mouth. Oh, you know what? I want to make room for my... Oh, yeah, I don't know why our live is freezing. Yeah, on our end, it actually looks... Yeah, so far, so it's actually acted pretty good. Forgot we got to draw those little holes on either side of their mouth. So there's their little... Now we're going to label that this is the mouth. And I'm also going to label teeth here. So we're going to put teeth. And then we're going to draw those gills. I know I kind of ran out of a little bit of room, but the gills, they kind of look like little ribs, don't they? So we're going to draw some gills kind of on one side here, gills on the other side. And they look a lot like ribs. And I'm going to draw my label for my gills on this side, since I got the mouth and teeth over there. So gills, Gills. Gills. We've got our gills. We have the mouth. We have the teeth. And, if you want to, you can go ahead and label your wings again. We can even put wings, parenthesis fins this time, since we did it the other way last time. So there's the underside of your ray. Here's the above version of your ray. And if you want to make yours the blue spotted ray, you could draw little blue dots all over. Or you can do it however you like. So there's our ray diagram. Now I'll show you Alexis's ray diagram. She's got the underside there. She's got the above there and all her little labels. All right. Well, thank you for joining us to learn all about rays. Next week, we're actually going to do Shark Week. Did you know that? So we're going to learn all. I know she's a little nervous about the sharks because she doesn't want to go in the ocean with the sharks, right? So we're going to learn more and more about sharks next week. So we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
There's
The only
three main ones.
fish that's warm-blooded, I think, is the
I don't think I have not heard of a warm-blooded fish, but there might be. I think there potentially could be one specific kind. We'll have to look that up, I guess. Yes, to see. Because they breathe through their blowhole, right? So we're actually going to talk about rays today. So go ahead and write on your. And I know this is backwards for you, but.
R-A-S.
So we're going to do both today. So I'm going to get a good picture of the top of the ray to copy, and then a good picture of the bottom of the ray too, to kind of show. There's a good bottom. I'm trying to find a good top one here. Let's see, what kind of dress is Alexis wearing? Yep, it is Jasmine. Yep, the harvest dance dress. Yeah, so she really enjoyed watching Aladdin over the summer especially. So yeah, so that's actually the harvest. And we actually made up our own little dance for the harvest dance, right? That was fun.